To part 2 of soap making course. It's the soap making process. It's very important to understand that there are different processes of making soap, and this all depends on the kind of soap you're making and also on the level you're making soap. Whether you're making soap in a large scale, small scale, and also the formulation that you have at hand that you're using in making soap. So there are there are three. Let's go to our board. So there are three processes, but it all depends. Like I explained earlier on, if you are making a synthetic soap, I didn't talk about it, a soap that is purely made from chemicals without the natural oils, and if you're making a synthetic soap, there will be no need for any other processes. It is just purely mixing and stirring until it comes, everything is dissolved. But when you're making a natural soap, that is a combination of natural oils with caustic soda and fillers, it is important to know the process that you're going to follow. So there is the first process of soap making is called cold process, and the second one is called hot process, and the third one is called rebatching. And I will take you through them shortly in a minute. So cold process, this is a method that involves mixing oils, which is fats, mix them with caustic soda at a room temperature. Don't forget that part, room temperature. Now all you just do is you melt the fats. Once you've melted them, you can now just wait for them to cool a bit so that it's not really hot, and then you come and mix them with a caustic soda solution, because there is caustic soda solution is the one that you put. When you now mix them together at a room temperature, this is what we call cold process. It's not as hot as you melted them. You first allow it to cool, and then you come and do the mixing. And then the second one is called hot process. Like the same cold process, you mix oils with fats, oil and fats, sorry, they are together, and then with caustic soda. But you're boiling them. It involves boiling, really heating with fire, and you boil. So the saponification process takes place when the oils and the caustic solution are all heating up. So it involves a lot of fire. Let me show you an example. Yes, this is an example of a heating process. You see these drums that are all on fire, and the soap is being boiled here. This is the hot process I'm talking about. It involves boiling and fire, and this is when you're doing in a larger scale. And the advantage with hot process is that the soap will get to dry so quick compared to a soap that is made using the cold process method. So when you're using hot processes, when you're doing larger scale, you want the soap to dry so quick and take it to the market. You understand? So the curing process of soap, it is speed up. You understand? And now the next part is what I want to tell you is the rebatching. Sorry, this system is delaying me. The rebatching. Rebatching. This is the next part, the third method of making soap. Now, rebatching involves, it's a process of using already made soap, and converting it to a new soap that you want. So the common practice is getting what is called an offcut, that those soap particles that remain when you are cutting soap, especially for the table cutter machine and molds. We'll talk about them in the episodes ahead. You get an offcut and then add a few oils and little caustic, and then you make a soap out of it. So you can rebatch soap. You can get the whole box of White Star, of 10 bars at 1 kg each. These are 10 kgs, and add some more chemicals to increase it. So you can change this. You can change this to something else which is within the same soap. So rebatching, it's recycling. The right word I would use is recycling already existing soap. Maybe the quality is not as you want it, or maybe you want to reduce the cost of production. Maybe you produce it so expensively, so you want to reduce the cost of production. And I remember doing it for a client of mine. They had produced soap at a production cost of 6,000. It was a very nice soap, but no one was going to buy it, because you cannot sell soap at 6,000 when you are just a small startup. You need to produce soap at around 2,800 to 3,500, so that when you sell, your price is below the market price of the common big brand. The common big brands are between 5,000 and 6,000. So there you can have clients that will accept your price. So they called me, and I had to rebatch their whole soap. And in this process of rebatching, I have to come up with a formula. It has its own formula based on the content of the soap that is already made, soft made. So I will have to examine how it is. I will have to examine the materials that were used. I will have to examine the process that was used in making it, and I will have to examine the production cost, which is calculating everything. In soap production or in manufacturing, you cannot avoid mathematics. You need to understand that. If you don't know the mathematics, at least get someone that will help you do the mathematics for you. You see that? So this is about the processes of making soap. So to just give you a summary, I said there is what is called cold process, there is what is called hot process, and then there is rebatching. And the right word for another word for rebatching is recycling. And it is very profitable if you know how to do it very well, because the price for broken particles of soap is cheap, and you can really make good profits out of them. Based on my experience, I can help you know how to make good profits out of them. And there are factories that have so many soap particles that they would rather sell them than ever reuse them, because they are using them, but they also they can be able to sell them. So there is a big gold mine in rebatching. I'm telling you the truth. You can make money here. So and like I told you, this all applies to natural soap, a soap that is made out of oils and caustic. But when we talk about synthetic soap, it's another kind of soap that is not common in the Uganda market, but it's synthetic. It is purely chemicals. I made my own research, made my own experiments, and I discovered that it is a lot more cheaper, easier to access, and easier to make. It's just that people don't know about it, and that I will talk to you about it in some other episodes or in some time separately. But synthetic soap is coming up because it's so common in modern countries that cannot be able to access oils, or if the oils are not easy to process. Remember, having palm trees, you'll have to spend a lot of time waiting for palm trees to grow and processing them. It's a whole process, but it is easier to make those chemicals that are not harmful to the human skin and still come up with a very nice soap. So synthetic soap should be the next stop. It should be the next topic of talk within the Ugandan manufacturers, because it is really easy to make, and it's nice and it's cheap. Can you imagine you can make about 1,800, and it makes a lot of profits. And every time I make that soap, everyone tells you, wow, this is the best soap, this is nice, but they don't know exactly. These are just simple chemicals like salt, sodium silicate, and the rest. I will not talk about it here, but we will talk about them. As you keep following me, there is a lot to learn, because I've been in this industry for at least 5 years, and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot through errors, through experiments, and through mentorship from the people that I looked up to. So we have a lot in stock in terms of knowledge that we can learn. So keep watching. See you in the next episode. Thank you.